Total Wine & More is a wonderland to explore. Thousands of wines and spirits, unexpected pairings, and great gifts. Low prices and helpful guides make the holidays magical at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
This is No BS Job Search Advice Radio, episode 1804. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to the end of the week. You know, things are starting to open up, obviously, and it's time to get yourself back into the skill race, making sure that you're ready for interviewing, job search, and such. And this is another one of those situations I want to prep you for, one of those tough interview questions. Hope you find it helpful. Hope you give it a great review wherever you listen to the show. And if you have a question for me, contact me at Wizio.com. That's WISIO.com/The Big Game Hunter, and ask your question. You'll get a 3 to 5 minute video back from me, personalized just for you. And with that, let's get going, okay? This question, is an illustration of one of those Amazon leadership principles that I think, it's the principle of customer obsession. And the question is, walk me through a time where you helped the customer through a difficult process and what that looked like. Now, I'm going to first give you some data about an experience of mine that doesn't involve Amazon, but a cell phone carrier, where I was attempting to get my older iPhone to make phone calls on Wi-Fi, which should work very easily, but for some reason, my family's phones all were able to do it, mine couldn't. So I first called the carrier, level 1 support. We're going through the process. It's not working. Gets escalated to level 2. We go through the process. I walk them through the steps that I'm involved with. It should work. It's not working. It gets escalated to level 3. I get a phone call, which is, I want to point out, I receive a phone call from someone from level 3 support, and we start entering into a conversation about what I'm doing, what's going on with the phone. They promise to research it and come back to me, which they do 24 hours later, and we identify that there's a problem that Apple needs to be notified because they need to turn on something on their side, that there's a bug that exists or a problem that exists that they need to carry it. And I'm just giving you the data of the situation so you can understand how you do this in answering questions. Ultimately, I'm told the ticket has been submitted to them. It should be resolved in 48 hours. We will call you back to confirm that that's been done. In the meantime, I've submitted it to them, and I'm going to follow through with them to make sure it's been taken care of. Now, here's the way you do the story. And you would pause for a second, because you have to think of interviewing as being like theater. You're acting. And even though you're rehearsed for this, you want to be given the idea that you're thinking about your answer. So you might pause for a second and go, so you notice what I did. I'm giving the impression of thinking. And, you might simply say, I was working with someone who was escalated to me as my first time dealing with a situation where our capacity to turn on Wi-Fi for a customer wasn't working. So we went through all the steps, obviously, and once those weren't working, I promised the customer a call back within 24 hours. In the meantime, I spent time not just simply at work, but off hours to try and identify problems and identify that there was a problem on the Apple side of this. It wasn't with our carrier, but it was with Apple. Reached out to them, confirmed that this is an issue on not just his phone, but a whole bunch of other phones. And thus what I was able to do was to babysit with the vendor, with Apple, to ensure that the issue with this person's phone, my phone, would be handled in a timely way. And you might go through some more details to the story. And I've simplified it here, but you want to follow the format of SOAR. What was the situation that you had to deal with? What was the objective that you had? What was the action that you took? What was the result that you got? And if there's a way that you can measure this in terms of customer satisfaction, that's what you try to do. Because at the end of the day, what they're looking for in answering this, in your answer here, is that you were obsessed, that you wouldn't let this tiger go. Once you had it in your teeth, you were going to hold on to it and not let it go until the issue was solved. So understand, obsession is a big deal to certain organizations. And if you're in a service role, this is what they want to hear. They want to hear a story where you just wouldn't let the tiger go. And you held on to it by the tail, you had it in your teeth, and no matter what, you were going to get this solved, because that's what really makes a difference in cases like this. So I hope you get the answer here, and if you're asked a question, a behavioral question along these lines, whether that's with an external customer, an internal user, some individual that you have to interact with, this is the way to approach it. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, here are a few more ways to get information and advice from me. First of all, there's my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. I have more than 8,000 blog posts there that you can watch, listen to, or read that will help you find your next job. In addition, if you're interested in my coaching you, at the site there's a button there that says schedule. Schedule time for a free discovery call, schedule yourself in for coaching, interview preparation coaching, salary negotiation advice, coaching related to hiring more effectively, managing and leading, helping you to be a better executive in your organization, and overall being a better employee of your firm. If you have questions for me, you can ask them at Wizio.com/The Big Game Hunter. That's WISIO.com/The Big Game Hunter. The price at Wizio is less than 1/3 of what I'm charging on my website. And I'm doing this because I want to benefit my subscribers here and on YouTube, and only you're going to know about it. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at LinkedIn.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. Mention that you watched or listened to my content. I like knowing I'm helping folks. Once we're connected, it's nice to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you from time to time about how I'm helping. You can also watch me on TV. Did you know that? If you have a Fire TV or a Fire Stick, download the JobSearch TV app for Apple TV, Roku, Sony, Samsung, like 90 different TV platforms. You can watch me on either Zingo TV or BingeNetworks.tv. On YouTube, subscribe at JobSearch.TV.com and have access to thousands of videos I've created. I'll be back tomorrow with more, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Be great!
Now is the chance to use reliable energy to grow your money with the Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. Our new investment product offers competitive returns, no maintenance fees, and flexible online access to your money. Make the reliable investment in reliable energy. The Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. To find out more, go online to reliabilityinvestment.com. That's reliabilityinvestment.com.
We begin today's meditation with a few sipping exercises to remind us a little treat can go a long way. So pick up your McCafe iced coffees, close your eyes, and deep sip in. And deep satisfaction out.
Take a treat retreat at McDonald's. Right now, get a McCafe iced coffee in any size and any flavor for just 99 cents until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary.